Hi, my name is Samet. Today I am going to show you a simple example for solid modeling on a multi-view projection of this object. Here you see the front, top and the side view of this object. The direction of the view in this direction, the front direction. And I am going to try to show you this example on different ways. First, I want to use the front direction. Here, as you see, our visible lines for this front direction is this thick lines, and I'm going to use these lines to create my first solid, and then I'm going to modify it. First, I open a page and I switch my working space to 3D modeling. Yes, this is my 3D modeling space, and here the axis and the coordinates are very important. If I go back to my view, that as you see, this is front direction. That means I want to draw this on a front axis, and my axis on the front direction should be X and the Y. This is X direction and this is Y direction. Okay, to do this, first I change my UCS to front direction, and also I change my view to front. Now as you see, my direction is front and also my axes are X and Y. Why I did this? Because AutoCAD use only X and Y direction to create the lines and other drawing utilities. Okay, now I first want to increase my line weight to see it easily. I select 0.3 mm and don't forget to check display and line weight. Okay, and I start with line and I go back to look the dimensions. The width is 70 mm and the height is 9 mm. I start at origin 70 mm and 9 mm up direction, and I continue. The total width is 70 mm and this width is 30 mm, and the shape is symmetric. I understand this from the center line, and that means that this direction is 20 mm. Okay, and the height, there is no information here. I can refer to the side view, and as you see that the height is 33 minus 9, 24. Okay, 20 mm and 24. And I stop here. I don't need to continue because I know this shape is symmetric, and I can simply use mirror to draw, to copy these three lines, and then I can join these open ends. To do this, first I open midpoint and quadrant and perpendicular. They are all checked in my workspace. That's okay. And I go to modify and select mirror, select this midpoint and draw a line on a vertical direction and erase source object. No. Then join these two ends, and that's all. This is our front visible lines. Now I want to use extrude, but don't forget to do this. These lines should be polyline. This means, as you see, these are all separate lines and I have to change them to a polyline. Therefore I select all of them. This is a short way to do this, and write join directly on keyboard. And when I select this join, and that's all. As you see here, now this is a polyline. Before extruding the object, I want to see all the coordinate axes. Here I only see X and Y, and I go to the navigate toolbar cube, and here I select this corner, and now I can see X, Y and Z. Now I select extrude. I select any point on the edge and press enter. Now I have to find the depth information of the view, and here in the side view or top view, as you see, the depth is 30 mm. Okay, now I want to go down into the page for 30 mm. Okay, now to check our solid model, first I can change the view to conceptual. And also I want to go back to world, our first direction, our first coordinate. And also I changed the front to top. And as the previous one, I selected corner point, and as you see, this is our solid model. And I have to make some modification on it to reach the final model. As you see, I have to cut a volume at this midpoint, and also there are several holes. Okay, first I want to start this section. As you see, this is a rectangular section, and if I can draw a rectangle on this side or on top view, then I can simply create a solid and then subtract it from the main model. Okay, first we have to find a face or a plane to continue. Here, as you see, our XY and the coordinates is on this section. That means if I draw anything, it will be created on this. But I want to draw something on this face. Okay, I delete this sample. Therefore, I have to change the coordinates. Here, there is a very simple command that if I select this face command, it aligns the user coordinate system to that face. I select this side face or top face. It's not important. I want to select this one and check the direction X, Y and Y direction and accept it. Okay, X and Y, as you see, good. Now I want to check the dimensions. Okay, as you see, the width is 10 millimeter. The total width I know is 30 millimeter. That means this part also same 10 millimeter. Okay, and the height is not important because the height is equal to the face height. I select rectangle and I wait on this corner point. I want to use the AutoCad. I move to desired direction and I press 10 millimeter. Okay, I start at this 10 millimeter ahead and I go down to this corner point and this time go back to desired direction for 10 millimeter. Okay, now I see my rectangle, but this view actually is not good. I want to change it to the wireframe, and I can simply select my final drawing, and this time also I want to use extrude, select area and enter and continue until this corner point. Okay, now I select the conceptual. As you see, there is no hole here, also here, and now I have two solid model actually. This one, the big one, and here also there is a small one. Here, what I have to do, we have to subtract this small model from the main one. Okay, to do this, okay, select subtract, and to use this, first select the main model. That means the solid model that you want to keep. Select this one and press enter, and then select the model that you want to erase from the main model. It is this small one here for our example, and press enter again. As you see, we have subtracted this volume from the main model. Okay, I also want to go back to our world dimension, world coordinate system, and now we have several holes. As you see, since this shape is symmetric, this hole and this hole is also symmetric, and I have to cut this hole from these two volumes. Okay, I want to start the simple one, this one. Look at the dimensions. The diameter is 9 millimeter, and the height from the bottom is 24 millimeter. Okay, these are enough for us. I select center diameter, but don't forget, first actually we have to change the coordinates, and I select the face again, and I select this face and accept it. Check the XY, okay, and then center diameter, the midpoint, wait on it and move up for 24 millimeter, and the diameter of the circle is 9 millimeter. Okay, this is our hole, and I select extrude, select the circle, enter, and go until this point, or actually select an arbitrary point. This is not important. Why? Because we are going to delete this. Therefore, the dimensions, the depth dimension is not important. I select the subtract again, main model, enter, and subtract this volume. enter. That's all. Now I select my working space coordinate again, this, accept it, XY, okay. Now look at the dimensions. This is 50 and total width is 70. That means this part is 10 millimeter and the diameter is 10 millimeter also. Okay. I select the center diameter again. Find the midpoint. Okay. Actually here this is a conceptual view. Maybe you want to change to wireframe. Therefore, to select the or snap points is easy than conceptual view in the wireframe. I select the center diameter, wait on the midpoint, move right in the Y direction for 10 millimeter, and also the diameter is 10 millimeter. Okay, I want to copy one of them to the other side. I select copy, I select the circle, enter, I select the center and go in the Y direction for 50 millimeter. Why 50? Because I remember from the picture that the distance between the centers, the center distance is 50 millimeter. Okay, now I have two circles. I select extrude, these circles, two circles, and enter, and go down to an arbitrary point as the previous one. It's not important because we are going to delete it, and subtract main model, enter, and the volumes that you want to subtract, enter, and that's all. Finally, I change to world coordinate system, and when I look from the top corner point, I can see that this is my solid model. Here, as you see that, to create this solid model, I use the front view. Instead of this, maybe you prefer this one, but don't forget, first you have to draw the circumference, the environment of the visible lines, this, and then you continue the details like this one, the environment. First, this is a rectangle actually. First, you draw the base, and then you can draw this two volumes, and then you open holes. Actually, when you draw this rectangle, maybe you first draw that circles also. Maybe I can also show this one, and you can try this view. This time, I want to delete this. Okay, we start from the beginning, and this time I want to use this top view. I erase my working area, and as I said that first I want to draw this rectangle, the environment, the circumference of the view, and also I want to add these two circles because I know there are two circles, circular hole actually. Okay, the dimension 70 by 30. Okay, I select the rectangle, start from the origin, and as you see, this time I didn't change the coordinate direction. Why? Because actually the default coordinate direction is top. Here our coordinate direction is also top. Therefore I didn't change anything. Okay, 70 by 30. Okay, this is our direction, and I generally use this diagonal view to see all the directions. And also I select center diameter. Maybe you remember the dimensions from the previous one. It's on the midpoint and the 10 millimeter inside, and also the diameter is 10 millimeter. And this time I want to use the mirror. I select the midpoint and another midpoint again, and enter. Okay, select extrude, but here if you choose extrude you will face a problem. I want to show this. I select this, this, and this, and enter, and go up for, look at the dimension, 9 millimeter. Okay, 9 millimeter. As you see, we don't have any holes, but instead we have two more volumes. You can simply subtract these two volumes from the main one, but instead of this, first I want to go back. Okay, you can prefer press pull. What is press pull? Wait on the command to see the definition. presses or pulls bounded areas. That's the advantages of press will. I select this one. Press will use the area, and therefore select any area, any closed area inside your drawing, and go up for 9mm. As you see, since press will uses area, okay, and then the holes are ready for this time. And I want to continue on this face. Therefore, I select face, this face, and press enter. Okay. Now look at the dimensions. Okay. The starting point of this rectangle is 90mm inside, and the dimensions 10mm by 30mm. Okay. I select line, weight on the corner, go inside for 20mm and 10mm, 30mm width, and a 10mm, and join them. Here the conceptual view, maybe it's hard to see the details, I changed them, and therefore here you can easily see this. And another advantage of press will that to use this rectangle in extrude, actually first you have to turn these lines to a polyline, but in press will you don't need to do this. I select press will, I select the area, this bounded area, and go up for, look at the dimension, for 33 minus 9, 24 mm. Okay. And also, you know this, I have another one at the other side, but this time I want to show another difference of press will. As you know, if you use extrude, the drawing, the profile you used will be erased after extrude operation. But this time, look at this. I want to move this solid model. I select this one. Maybe first we changed it to conceptual, and now use the move. Select the model, enter, and move it to any direction. It is not important, for 50mm. And as you see, press will keeps the profile. That means you can use it again. And I want to move my main model to original direction. Therefore, I use the red undo, and I change it this conceptual wheel to wireframe. And I want to select this to profile again, because as I said that we have used the press will, therefore this profile still here, and I move it to other side. Okay, easily, as you see, and use the press will again for or up to this point. And as you see, I have two volumes as desired. And now look at the model again to check, and finally, as you know, I select this face command and select this face to open a hole here, and look at the dimensions, 9mm and 24mm from the bottom. Select center diameter, find the midpoint, yes, go up for 20mm and 9mm. Select press will extrude, it is not matter. Select this one, enter, and go up to a point, subtract main model, enter, and subtract volume, enter. That's all. Change the coordinates to world, and as you see, we have same model, same solid model, but this time we have preferred a different view and different way. Actually, it's up to you. Generally, the front view may be preferred, but I said the selection is up to you, but we generally prefer the view which covers the main or the biggest part of the model. For example, this time, maybe we prefer the front or the top, but actually the side view is not desired, because you have to also delete these two volumes and you have to open holes again. And according to your example, you can first inspect the easiest direction and then you can select one. Here in this example, I have showed that these two front and the top direction, maybe you may prefer to the side direction, and after this you may write your comments to below. Okay, see you in other videos. Bye bye.